Hey everybody, this is Gilbert Raya with D'Amico Dance, and I'm here with Damon D'Amico, the owner and founder of D'Amico Dance. And today we're here to discuss not just dance history, but where D'Amico Dance is going in the future. Also where we see country dancing and West Coast swing dancing, one of the most popular dances in the world, where we see both of those going. Hey Damon, how you doing?
Hey man, what's up?
Just a quick run through of your experience in the dance business and also as a dance coach.
Quick is tough. I've been doing it so long, so 40 years this year, and I'm loving every minute of it. I've never had a day of burnout. My life has changed because of dance. Obviously, I stayed with it. I was one of those people that was never really committed to anything super long, because I'm sure back then, before they had the labels, I was ADD, ADHD, whatever it was, but we didn't call it that back then because I'm old. Getting older, I should say. Dance has brought so much joy to my life and extreme focus. And I was altered by what was happening to my students over time. So watching the impact that dance had on the people changed it from something that I was like, oh, this is easy for me, and wow, I can make money doing this, instead of like punching a time clock at a grocery store, which is what I was doing. And so it's just been so rewarding for me in so many ways, but primarily the community building and what it's done for people's lives, whether they're looking for confidence, a social outlet, physical fitness, a challenge, a way to express themselves artistically. It's never ending. And then when I realized the health benefits that were going on, that's what really hooked me. After watching my grandmother go through what we called senility back then, which is now dementia and Alzheimer's, and over time realizing that the older community, because most of the people that take dance lessons are 55 plus, it's just a fact of life. In the 40 years I've been teaching dance, those are the people. They're old enough that they have expendable income, they have the time, and their kids don't need a babysitter anymore, and they're like, oh, I want to get back to living. So a lot of them, those especially that are more disposition to early onset dementia or Alzheimer's, as they come in and they start to dance, some of them were already having signs of that, and then the testimonials are countless. How many people came to me and said, this is really changing my life. The meeting the new people, the connecting the brain to the body, it's just amazing, the transformation. They're like, in my everyday life, I'm feeling better, feeling stronger, more stable, and I have mental clarity. And that has been driving me for the last 30 of those 40 years of teaching dance.
That's incredible. So if I heard you correctly, you mentioned not just how personally it has affected your life, but also what you've witnessed in your 40-year career of how it's impacted the people that you've taught and the people that take it as a hobby, avenue for wellness.
And becomes a way of life. I mean, as you know, for those of you that already dance, everything now revolves around dance. You don't date somebody who doesn't dance. And if you do, we miss you for that time. And then you come back and I'm like, you were dating a non-dancer, weren't you? That happens all the time. But just it becomes a way of life. And you start to schedule your vacations based on, is there dancing in that place? And city. Where can I hook up with those people, when I'm there? Catch a workshop, catch a class, go to a social. It becomes a way of life. It's not like you plug into dance, learn how to dance, and then leave. And some people do that. They become more of the rarity, because they don't want to give it up. They realize that weekly dose of dopamine / acetylcholine that they're getting, which we'll talk more about later, and you can find that obviously on our website. We have free handout and brochure that talks about the effects of dancing on the brain. But it's a drug you can't really get from other hobbies. Obviously, dance is the number one activity in the world for offsetting early onset dementia and Alzheimer's. There are many, many, many articles published about it. That's not me just talking off the top of my head. You can find some of that information in our book, Swing to the Rhythm. I think you'll love the book. It's probably much different than what you think the book is about, but it's very enlightening and eye-opening, and it's firsthand account of what I've experienced with the impacts that dancing has had on other people's lives.
Absolutely, and I've been a dancer for 12 years. I've studied under Damon and also Lisa, Damon's ex-wife, for a number of years throughout that time. But some of the benefits, I didn't make that connection until we started writing this brand new book called Swing to the Rhythm. And I'm glad that Damon did bring that up, because in that process of writing this book and uncovering why dance is so addictive and why the general public, maybe they're not able to
grasp.
right. And we were quite astonished, whether it be emotional, whether it be social, whether it be mental, whether it be physical, how many different areas dance encompasses. And Damon, can you talk a little bit more about that? Because in this process of writing Swing to the Rhythm, we did run across about 7 different areas that we found that the majority of people will fall into one of those categories or a number of those categories.
For me, for us, you know, and the way that I've taught over all these years, really focusing on the brain to body connection and building folders for people, you know, it became, and it was behind the scenes. I talk about it in class. For those of you that have been in my classes, you know that I bring up the brain to body connection a lot. For those of you that watch us on the surface and just to watch a few videos or haven't watched us at all, you'll find that all of my teaching is based on that, is building new folders. I call it building folders. So it's about passing on accountability, where I want to ask the pertinent questions. I typically only ask questions that people know the answers to, but I want to solidify the information and realize that they now own it. They have now obtained the information, you know, and I'll make that joke in class. And I'm like, here, you hold this, and it's really heavy, and then I go, oh, you got to hold it now. So I love to make the joke and the connection between, now you own the information. Now I want you to tap in to the folders that you've built, and then make sure that that's getting to the body parts you want. And it's just a way to connect the brain to the body and to get people to understand that what they've paid for, what they've learned, and the power of dance is within them once they learn it. It's not something that's external. They now own it. And when they decide that they're going to use that over and over, obviously they become better dancers. And the better dancer you become, your new fun becomes even being a better dancer. It's not just about muddling through it or something. It's not about that. It's about actually executing what you intended to execute. You know, and then suddenly that's happening. It creates this opportunity for 2 of the most powerful chemicals in the brain to come together. And that's dopamine, the feel-good chemical, and acetylcholine, which is a chemical that's released in the brain when there's an intense focus and a sense of urgency, which happens naturally in the classroom environment, because like, oh, I'm going to be the only one that doesn't get this particular move or styling element or whatever, and this class is going to be over, and you're rotating through these other people, and it makes you feel that pressure. So you feel that pressure, and then you nail it, and then it's time to move on to the next partner. High five and rotate. That spike of dopamine on top of the acetylcholine, it's a drug that you can't get hardly anywhere else. And it brings people, it addicts people to dance. And so they're coming back because they want more. And again, it makes them want to achieve greater success. It's not just about muddling through it, faking your way through. It's like, I nailed it. You know, and that's like, and for me, that is what drives my passion, and then in turn drives their passion, makes them want to come back.
Those are some of the unspoken concepts that, well, at one point Damon uncovered, but for myself, I didn't realize just how potent that combination of acetylcholine and dopamine play in class and also for someone's personal well-being, how connecting their brain to their body and to the movements of dance, why that combination is so addictive. And Damon started out by mentioning confidence, and he also mentioned community, and he mentioned the mental aspects of it. And we also uncovered, so those are about 3 of the 7 that we learned. And then some of the other ones is just overall well-being and fitness. So just having the opportunity to dance in a given evening, anywhere from 3,000 to upwards of 10,000 steps, how that can profoundly impact someone's body image and the transformation that they see themselves in the mirror in a short amount of time.
Sure, and if you're not a big gym goer, if you're a gym goer, great. But if you're someone who loves to dance and you don't like the gym that much, you can replace the gym with dancing for sure. Once you achieve a certain level of proficiency and you're able to dance song after song after song, it's certainly aerobic. So not only are you exercising your brain, you're also exercising your body. For sure.
Right, exactly. And how that's not necessarily, as in partner dancing, it's not really spoken of in that regard, as that can be your path to fitness while also having fun. For people that are curious about dance.
Yeah, exploring, it's like, what can I do that's really fun? I can't even talk about this without talking about the other benefits. It's hard to single them out because they all work so well together. But what can I do as a hobby that also includes other people, that includes physical fitness, that challenges me, that's artistic, that bang bang bang, so they're all together.
Right.
So looking for that thing that has all of those. It's all encompassing. All of those aspects,
It is beneficial, though, to pinpoint these aspects individually, because I want to segue into our next topic, which is more about the business aspect and the marketing aspect of where we see D'Amico Dance going, but also where we see the dance industry in general going. And when I say dance industry, I'm primarily focusing on country western dancing and also West Coast swing dancing, because those are the two areas that D'Amico Dance specializes in. And that's not to say that we don't encompass other dances, but we do primarily offer our products and our services in these two sections of the industry. So Damon, where do you see dance going in the future? And from where you started, the hope and the aspirations of the company, what could you say about that?
Well, I would just want to mention the explosion lately. Just prior to COVID and then over COVID, it's unbelievable, the insurgence of young people, and not just young people, but that's what's most profound, because we always kind of had that older group. Historically, what we have are young people that get involved in dance, but then go off to college, build a career, get married, have children, and we usually lose them for a little bit. We will have some of those participating, but typically that's harder. They've got a family to raise. They've got to put a roof over their head. They're doing these things.
Yeah.
But as of late, the younger generation, as a result, to give credit where credit is due, country swing, and anything that falls under that umbrella, I have to say, really brought people to dance. I was pretty opposed to country swing at first because it didn't have a rhythm and a timing, and some people tried to attach that to it, but it was really just kind of disorganized. But what it did do was it allowed people to get involved in dance. They wanted to go out and have a good time, and they weren't worried about being perfect, and that was great. A lot of times those that opposed me in my disbelief that it was necessarily good for dance in the beginning, which I've become a believer that I believe it is good for dance, they always acted like it was a gateway dance to orthodox dancing. And so you would think country swing was a gateway to country dancing. And in turn, what I've realized is that it's way more a segue into West Coast swing, because those are more the type moves that they were stealing from Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. It was more of those type of patterns, because traditional two-step didn't have the pizzazz and flair that the younger generation was looking for, and they found that in West Coast swing by watching the top West Coast swing couples online. So what we've seen is a huge insurgence in West Coast swing. It's really blowing up. I love country dance. Two-step is my passion, trying to keep it alive. Please help me keep it alive. That's a much longer conversation we need to have about two-step, for all of you out there that think you know what two-step is. Not to give a dig on you, but you don't know what two-step is.
All the Facebook people.
Woo. But anyway, but it really was more of a segue. So I was like, where do these people go? Are they ever going to plug in, actually attach their brain to their body instead of just winging it, attach a timing and a rhythm that fits the music that they're dancing to? And they are. But they're doing that really through West Coast swing. Wow. And then once they find West Coast swing and they're using that stuff for West Coast swing, then they're filtering over. Some of them, not as many, are filtering back over into country. So I think that both circuits are in good shape right now, where I was a little bit concerned about where the dance was going, especially in country. And I've just recently seen a lot of the country swing turning West Coast swing dancers now go back to the country dance circuits, is what's happening. And so that makes me really happy, because I believe they're both, very valuable, and they're just such cool dance styles that include everybody. So yeah. Gilbert, I got to run, man. I got to go teach a class. Thank you so much. Yeah, I appreciate you and all of your efforts and what you're doing with D'Amico Dance.
Stay tuned, because we'll have other editions of this moving forward. We'll continue the discussion, and we look forward to seeing the comments. Definitely like and subscribe, and we will be back with you.
Go to DamicoDance.com. And you'll find lots of information there, lots of different free information videos that you can check out. Please go there and check it out.
Great. Thank you.